that's what I get more of, is love. I start my day with love, when I start my day with love, that's what I get more of, is love.
Good morning, Celebration Center for Spiritual Living. Welcome to yet another fabulous Sunday morning. If you don't know me, my name is Reverend Chris Ashley. I'm the senior minister here at Celebration Center. I am so glad to see all of your, what I'm sure are smiling faces beneath the mask, and what I'm sure are smiling faces at home. It's so awesome to have everybody here joining us today. As y'all know, we have an awesome service planned. I know, that's why you're here. That's what I say every week, because it's true every single week. We are continuing our journey into emotions using Brene Brown's Atlas of the Heart. And so this is week 3 of spontaneous, none of us know what we're going to talk about today. And we're going to spin the wheel and find out what our emotion is, read about it, and then chat about it together. So I'm super excited about that. We also have our glorious tech team in the back. We have Reverend Ryan Pulley on tech. Yay, Ryan! I am very, very grateful for such a varied abilities of my fiance. That was a really weird sentence. Anyways, yay, Ryan. We also have Lynn Hollyfield, our music director, as our music today, along with a special guest. Brent Mass will be on drums, so yay to y'all. Judy Blaze is our practitioner on platform today, so she will be piping in today. Yay, Judy. And, that's everyone. So, yay to our whole team this morning. I also, if you are here in the room with us, I invite you to make sure that your phone is on silent. No need to turn it off. In fact, you can always go onto Facebook or YouTube if you have a comment or 2 cents that you want to put in, and you are welcome to put those comments in there along with everybody on live stream. If you are watching us live right now, we don't know you're there, which may or may not be a good thing for you, but we would love to know you're there. So please say good morning on the chat. Let us know how you're doing this morning. Also, if you are here for the first time this morning, we are so excited to welcome you to the center this morning. And if you're here in the room, there are guest cards available for you to fill out at the table. If you are online, we invite you to say good morning in the chat. Let us know where you're from and how you found us. I have several announcements. So, to continue our theme of emotions, if you look over here, if you're here in the room, we have our big emotions wheel, and Ryan's going to put it up for us for the people online. Yes, big, giant emotions wheel. And so I invite you, we also have this online, if you're at home, where you can go look at it a little closer. And so I invite you, if you're here in the room, figure out what your emotion is, go look at all of the options over there, and then put your little dot next to it. If you're online, you can either email me at revchris@celebrationcenter.org if you would like your emotion to stay anonymous, or just drop how you're feeling in the chat, and we'll put a dot up on our emotions wheel for you, and then a picture of that completed emotions wheel will be up on our website at the end of the month. Next Saturday, I am celebrating my graduation 2 years ago from ministerial school. So I am going to be going to Napa this week, along with Rev Ryan. They're coming with me, and we are going to be live streaming our graduation on Saturday, May 21st at 5 p.m., and the link to watch my graduation, if you feel so inclined, is on our website under upcoming events. So you can go watch me graduate ministerial school, even though technically I graduated 2 years ago. Also, next Sunday, you definitely want to be here, whether you're watching online or you're here in person, because Rev Raymond Anderson, who is, I know, all of our favorite person, is going to be here in person giving the message. And he is going to be talking about connection and emotions, places we go when we're feeling connected. So I'm super excited about that out of the book. He is not going to be spinning the wheel, though. I told him he was allowed to proper talk if he wanted to. Also, I'm super excited because Miriam Catellis is going to be offering us an art night on June 3rd. I don't have a whole lot of information for y'all yet about cost and time and all of that, but we're going to be creating these really incredible sand mandala designs together. So stay tuned. That's going to get up on our website this week under our upcoming events, so you'll be able to see all of the information about that. But go ahead and mark your calendar for June 3rd. You're going to want to be here for this art event. We are also still doing our supply drive. So we have a slide for that. So this is part of our new Vision and Action outreach. And this month we are collecting toilet paper. So we have our giant bin here in the front of the room. If you are here in the room, that you can drop toilet paper in, unused, please. And if you are online and you would like to participate in our monthly supply drive, you can go to our tithes and offerings section, click down, it says via Vision and Action. I said this last week, it was not true, it was not actually up, as Terry Murphy let me know, but it is now, I double checked. And if you donate to that, each month we'll take all of those donations, we will purchase toilet paper on your behalf, and we are doing this in partnership with Lutheran Social Services, who are still welcoming Afghani refugees and are now preparing to welcome Ukrainian refugees as well. So each month, as a reminder, we'll be collecting a different necessary item. So we are working in collaboration with Lutheran Social Services to discover what the highest need is for the month, and then collecting that and bringing that in for them. And finally, after the service today, we have our community connection time, and today we are playing games. We are going to play Pictionary. If you are here in the room, it begins at 12:20. You are welcome to join us here in the room. If you are online, you are welcome to join us online. This is a hybrid event. We are going to play Pictionary all together, and it doesn't matter where you're at to be able to do that. So I invite you to join us at 12:20 after the service. It's a little bit of a break to go grab some food, have a bio break, whatever you need, and then come back to play Pictionary with us today. And with all of that really awesome stuff that we have going on here at Celebration Center, I now invite Brent and Lynn up to open us in a song.
I hope you will sing along with us. This is I Sing My Love by Christy Love. I sing my love, I sing my love, I sing my love into the world. I sing my love, I sing my love, I sing my love into the world. I sing my love, I sing my love, I sing my love into the world. I sing my love, I sing my love, I sing my love into the world. I dance my joy, I dance my joy, I dance my joy into the world. I dance my joy, I dance my joy, I dance my joy into the world. I dance my joy, I dance my joy, I dance my joy into the world. I dance my joy, I dance my joy, I dance my joy into the world. I live my peace, I live my peace, I live my peace into the world. I live my peace, I live my peace, I live my peace into the world. I live my peace, I live my peace, I live my peace into the world. I live my peace, I live my peace, I live my peace into the world. I sing my love, I sing my love, I sing my love into the world. I sing my love, I sing my love, I sing my love into the world. I sing my love, I sing my love, I sing my love into the world. I sing my love, I sing my love, I sing my love into the world. I sing my love into the world. I sing my love into the world.
So, as we enter this sacred time in our service, I invite you to remember our vision as we say it aloud together. We are celebrating spirit within and knowing the oneness of humanity. Now, I invite you to close your eyes or soften your gaze. Feel how you are supported by your chair and the ground beneath your feet. I invite you to focus on your heart center, becoming aware of your love light expanding in your chest and radiating out into the world as we breathe together. Each breath has 3 parts: an inhale, a pause, and an exhale. So let's breathe in, pause, exhale. Breathe in, hold, exhale. Breathe in, hold, breathe out. Take a moment to continue to experience your light radiating out from your heart. Connect to the love light of our beloved community, those present in the room, online, and those watching in the future. I invite you to stay in this sacred space as I read today's reading from When Things Fall Apart by Pema Chodron. And the chapter is called Widening the Circle of Compassion. To relate with others compassionately is a challenge. Really communicating to the heart and being there for someone else, our child, spouse, parent, client, patient, or the homeless woman on the street, means not shutting down on that person, which means, first of all, not shutting down on ourselves. This means allowing ourselves to feel what we feel and not pushing it away. It means accepting every aspect of ourselves, even the parts we don't like. To do this requires openness, which in Buddhism is sometimes called emptiness, not fixating or holding on to anything. Only in an open, non-judgmental space can we acknowledge what we are feeling. Only in an open space where we're not all caught up in our own version of reality can we see and hear and feel who others really are, which allows us to be with them and communicate with them properly. So, with my heart wide open, I affirm my oneness with Source, the source of all that is. I know that all the qualities of the divine source are my qualities: wholeness, abundance, peace, creativity, wisdom, and joy. I know the infinite presence of love is who I am. I know that everyone here is one with these qualities. We are one with the creative power as we speak our word of truth. I now speak this truth. Each of us here, in person or online, is the divine expression of pure love. Every emotion we feel flows through us with ease, honored, blessed, and released. Love flows through all our interactions, all of our relationships, creating harmony and joy. Each of us is lavishly supported on every level of our being. We are open to receive the unobstructed flow of abundance. We are open to receive radiant health, aligned with the divine blueprint of our body temple. We allow perfect wisdom to guide and direct our choices, our actions, our thoughts, and our feelings. We are blessed as we realize we are the beloved of the infinite goodness that is our very existence. My heart is full of gratitude to know and affirm this, to realize that there is this amazing law that is responding right now to all of these words of truth. And so with a heart full of gratitude, I simply allow it to be as I release and let go, surrendering it all into that divine law, into the loving arms of that source, the essence of who we are. So I let it be, and so it is.
Okay, I'm going to do a song that is about emotions. I wrote this a few years back. It's called Inside Out. From the outside looking in, you see a lovely life, beauty blossoming, and the biggest heart, the biggest heart, the biggest heart. From the inside looking out, it's where the tears reside, a perfect place to hide, where no one knows, no one knows, no one knows. And the powers that be send a friend for tea. She sees her twisted smile. No more denial, no more denial, no more denial. And for a moment she lets her inside to see all the sticks and stones, all the flaws and imperfection, and a heart sitting alone. That exposure's raw and real, but opening begins to heal, creates a magic that helps her feel in love again, and love again, and love again. From the inside looking out, she sees her lovely life, her beauty blossoming, loves again. She 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 loves again.
Thank you so much, Lynn and Brett. I love that song. It is beautiful. That was beautiful. I agree. All right. Are y'all ready to figure out what we're talking about today? Okay. So, I was really excited about this week because there were a lot of really cool emotions in this week's thing, and there's a lot of things that I could say about a lot of them. So let's find out together. It was almost betrayal, the first thing Miriam says. Oh. Self-trust. Oh my goodness. Well, what's really interesting is that a lot of these overlap with each other. And so we will get into trust, we'll get into self-trust, we'll get into betrayal a little bit. So self-trust is, let's see, it is chapter 10, Places We Go When the Heart is Open. And it starts on page 182. Y'all, this book is so amazing. I'm so obsessed. Y'all should definitely get this book. No pressure, no pressure. Okay. Trust and, oh, here we go. Oh, y'all, this is so good. Okay. So, we're going to define trust first, and then we're going to go into self-trust. So, in The Thin Book of Trust, an essential primer for building trust at work, Charles Feltman defines trust as choosing to risk making something you value vulnerable to another person's actions. So, choosing to risk to make something you value, whether it's yourself, your emotions, your feelings, your thoughts, your ideas, or a thing, I'm going to loan you this book or this money or whatever it is, vulnerable to another person's actions. So it's opening ourselves up, right? Opening ourselves up to the vulnerability of potentially getting hurt or betrayed. Can't talk about trust without betrayal. And then he defines distrust as a general assessment that what is important to me is not safe with this person in this situation or in any situation. So she then goes on to talk about how trust is more of a cognitive assessment than an emotion necessarily. Like we assess a situation and we assess whether a person or a place or whatever it is trustworthy, right? Whether we are safe in this place. But then she goes on to say, conversations about trust can bring up a lot of emotions. Or for me, what comes up is when I discover that I can't trust somebody that I thought I should be able to trust, then there's a lot of like weird emotions around regret and betrayal and now I'm going to point at Miriam every time I say betrayal. I'm sure you'll love that, Miriam. Betrayal, regret, sadness, upset potentially that this person isn't a safe person like I thought they would be, whatever it is. So then she goes on to talk about the 7 elements of trust, and we're going to go there. But first I want to talk about self-trust. Lynn, will you turn up the AC that I forgot to turn up? It's now freezing in here. I was hot this morning. Thank you. So what she says is we most often think about trust between people and groups, But we often forget about the importance of self-trust. And then she says, self-trust is normally the first casualty of failure or mistakes. We stop trusting ourselves when we hurt others, get hurt, feel shame, or question our worth. And then she goes on to tell a story. She is 25 years sober as of this book coming out. And she was talking about self-trust. Her sobriety means that she can trust herself, that she is able to trust herself and her actions when it comes to protecting her own values, those things that she holds near and dear to herself. And I was thinking about that. I don't have a personal story of addiction and sobriety, but I was thinking about my early 20s because I definitely couldn't trust myself in my early 20s. I would set boundaries with myself of what I wanted to do, and then I would immediately break those boundaries when something that was more appealing or shinier came along. And then I would feel guilt, shame, regret, all of those things because I saw myself as a failure. And so I definitely think that even just as I've gotten older, as I've gotten deeper into my own spiritual practice, as I've stepped more fully into who I am, that I feel safe with myself in a way that I didn't used to feel safe with myself. And I have to admit that that feels really good. And it's a constant journey and practice, right? Like I still do things, I still make mistakes, I still have failures. So it's not like all of a sudden I'm like, yes, I am the perfect picture of self-trust. Everybody look at me. I never, ever make any mistakes ever, right? And is there a way, I guess my question for myself this morning, and as y'all know, I don't know what's going to come out of my mouth, so we're all asking this question together. I'm asking all of us this question is, can I make mistakes or have failures in a way that I still trust myself? That there's not that breakdown of self-trust, that I can trust that I trust myself regardless of what happens, regardless of the mistakes I made. And I think, actually, as I'm talking through this, that for me, the aspect of that is important is boundaries. So as I said, she has 7 elements of trust that emerged from her data, and she uses the acronym BRAVING. And I want to say this is in her book, Braving the Wilderness, I think is where she talks about this. Yes, I'm getting lots of nods. There are a lot of Brene Brown fans here. So the first, the B, is boundaries. And she says, you respect my boundaries, and when you're not clear about what's okay and not okay, you ask. You're willing to say no. And boundaries, that was actually on this week as well, and I was kind of hoping we got it because I love talking about boundaries. But one of the things that was mind-blowing to me is that in her data, she talks about how the most compassionate, empathetic people are the most well-bounded. They are the ones that hold the clearest, kindest boundaries. Something that Rev Ryan and I say to each other all the time is clear is kind, unclear is unkind. And when I'm making decisions about how I speak to someone or the way that I show up or all of that, I say that to myself. Is what I'm saying clear? And in being clear, it's kind. It might not always be nice, but it's always kind, right? The R in braving is reliability. So she says, you do what you say you'll do. At work, this means staying aware of your competencies and limitations so you don't overpromise and are able to deliver on commitments and balance competing priorities. The story that comes up for me when I think about reliability is I had a friend, Reverend Abigail Shire. I'm sure most of y'all have heard me talk about her. She is my mentor, one of my best friends. And she used to mentor me in exchange for me doing her website for her center out in California at the time. And so I did that for a while, and then I got overwhelmed. And instead of going to her and saying, I'm overwhelmed, I can't anymore, we need to renegotiate this agreement that we have, instead, I kind of disappeared. I just dropped away, stopped doing it, stopped answering emails. We're still best friends, so obviously we worked it out, right? And she came to me, and then I had all of this guilt and shame because she's one of my best friends. She's this amazing spiritual teacher and mentor. Oh my God, I want to be just like her as a minister. Like, she's the reason that I'm a minister, right? All of these things. And I just slunk away. And then I just stewed in my own self-shame stew, right? And so she came to me. She called me, and I finally picked up, and she said, I'm not upset that you weren't able to do it. And we get to renegotiate the agreement. So yes, we had this agreement, and it's not saying, oh my God, you have to do that no matter what, like, the skies fall in and I still expect you to be like on your computer at home while the apocalypse is happening, like putting our website out. But I do expect you to communicate with me what you can do. And if the expectations or what you're able to do changes, I expect the communication. And so all of a sudden, reliability shifted from I have to do what I say no matter what happens to I can communicate with you and we can have an open dialogue and figure out what the win-win-win is no matter what life brings. That was game-changing for me. And I have had profound conversations with other people as I have stepped more and more into leadership roles when they don't do something that I expect of them and slink off, because isn't that what we do, y'all? Like, I'm sure everybody can have a story of you didn't do something you were supposed to do or you said you would do and you slunk off instead of like facing the music, right? And I go to them and I approach with curiosity, not a you didn't do this, but a hey, I see this didn't get done. What's going on in your life? I know that you had every intention to complete this, so how can I support you? What does support look like in this moment? And it is game-changing. It was game-changing for me when Abigail first did it to me, and it is game-changing for others when it happens to them. The A is accountability. You own your mistakes, apologize, and make amends. So when we are facing the music, instead of slinking off or instead of, well, you didn't give me everything that I needed or you this or you that, instead being like, hey, yeah, I said I would do your website and I didn't. And I'm sorry I didn't do that. And can we have a conversation about that? Because I didn't meet your expectations. I wasn't reliable in this moment, and I want to make sure that this doesn't happen again. One of the things that I love about apologies, I am not a fan of an apology when it's just to get me to shut up about how I'm upset in this moment, right? Like I'm sorry that you feel that way, right? But what I love about apologies is that not only do they offer us the ability to own our mistake, but then they offer a way forward. It's like this gateway. I own my mistake, and then I step through the gateway of the apology, and we can show up to one another as, what's next? How can I do better next time? What does this look like for you the next time, right? The V in braving is vault. You don't share information or experiences that are not yours to share. I need to know that my confidences are kept and that you're not sharing any information with me about other people that should be confidential. Nothing is worse than when somebody is talking smack about somebody else and you just know that they are talking to that somebody else smack about you, right? At least for me, because I'm just like, if you're willing to say this about this person to me, then you're probably willing to say whatever about me to that person. Now, it's a little bit different because there is a difference between coming to somebody who can support you in moving through a situation, right? Like if you come to me, it's not talking smack if you're saying, hey, I'm in this really challenging situation. I don't know how to get through it. As my minister, can you support me? That is not what I'm speaking of. Just want to make that clear. But instead, it's just this holding. It's this holding of, I know that my name is safe in your mouth. That everything that you say about me comes from a place of love, from positive regard, from holding the highest intention of you. And that, if we look at this idea of my name is safe in your mouth, or your name is safe in my mouth, then if you are having an issue or a problem with me, then all of a sudden it becomes easier to come to me. Because I know that you're holding me in positive high regard. I know that you're holding me in a safe space, and you know that I'm holding you in a safe space. And so we can come together in a way that moves us forward. The I is integrity. You choose courage over comfort. You choose what is right over what is fun, fast, or easy, and you choose to practice your values rather than simply professing them. I'm pretty sure, I said boundaries was the issue, but I'm pretty sure that integrity was the issue because I definitely always chose what was fun, fast, and easy over what was right in my early 20s. If you follow Enneagram stuff, I am an Enneagram 7, which means I am all about the fun, y'all. I want to have fun. And so, I always chose what was fun, fast, immediate, yeah. Wow. Y'all are right there with me today. Instant gratification over what was right, or over those boundaries I had just set with myself, or over what I knew that I needed it to be doing to move my life forward. All of these things are those things that are ushering us into our highest and best good, right? And so integrity is basically that my outsides align with my own personal values. Now, y'all know how much of a fan I am about values, and we're actually going to be offering a values workshop in the very near future. I haven't quite gotten it worked out, but it'll be the next month or so, probably in June. And so if you don't know what values you're operating from, come to this workshop and find out, because it'll be a game changer for aligning your outside with your inside. When you know what your inside is, it's much easier to align your outside with it, right? The N is non-judgment. I can ask for what I need, and you can ask for what you need. We can talk about how we feel without judgment. We can ask each other for help without judgment. Now, trust and self-trust. Judgment. Did I ask for what was needed, and was I non-judgmental about needing help? And I think that is the key when it comes to self-trust, because so often we hate to ask for help. There's a section in here where Brené's talking about paradoxes, and she said the biggest paradox that she works with is vulnerability. The first thing that I want to see in you is vulnerability, and the last thing I want you to see in me is vulnerability. The first thing I want to see in you is vulnerability, and the last thing I want you to see in me is vulnerability. Right? That's a real ugh. And needing help, which we all do, is vulnerable. And so can we ask for help? Can we get the support that we need without judging ourselves for needing help? And then finally, G, generosity. You extend the most generous interpretation possible to the intentions, words, actions of others and of yourself. And I think where this comes up with me when it comes to self-trust is when I look back at all of those decisions that I made when I was choosing what was fun, fast, and easy over what was right. And what I also know is that as I look back on those things, I am looking at them from a 36-year-old mind that has done a lot of therapy and a lot of ministerial classes and a lot of support and a lot of mentorship and a lot of these things. I'm looking back at 20-year-old me who didn't have the tools and the resources and the knowledge and the brain or even the fully functioning prefrontal cortex that I have now. And so instead of judging myself, can I look back at my past behaviors with the most generous interpretation possible towards myself? Can I look back and say, yeah, that's not the decision that I would have made now, but obviously it is the decision that I would have made then, and that's okay because now I'm here and I'm ever moving forward once again. So, just 1 minute on betrayal, because I said we were going to touch on it. So betrayal is what comes next in the book. So trust, self-trust, and then betrayal. And Suzanne Collins, from the woman who wrote The Hunger Games, she says, for there to be a betrayal, there would have had to have been trust first. And then Brene says, betrayal is so painful because at its core, it is a violation of trust. And then she goes on to talk about how betrayal can only happen in relationships where trust was implied. And so she says, most betrayals happen among spouses, romantic partners, friends, coworkers, and occasionally family members. And she says, where does she say it? I just listened to it this morning. She basically talks about how that when it's something where it's somebody that you have these expected accountability and reliability things and then they're betrayed, that is so much harder than betrayals of acquaintances or people that have betrayed our trust before. She also goes on to say that it is very, very hard to come back from betrayal because it requires the person who betrayed to step up and to say, yep, I screwed up, and to listen to the person that they betrayed with openness and compassion and to be willing to just hear. And it can be really, really hard for us to hear how we've hurt another person, right? Really hard. And I think when it comes to self-trust, that betrayal, the way that I betrayed myself is always so much harder. And it can be hard to open myself up to that part of me that betrayed myself and to say, and to have compassion and to have empathy and to be willing to listen to myself and to understand and hold myself in positive high regard. So these are my thoughts on self-trust and a lot of Brene's thoughts. So just to remind you, braving is boundaries, reliability, accountability, vault, integrity, non-judgment, and generosity. So now y'all know what's coming. I'm going to have Lynn and Brent play us another song. And while they're doing that, I invite you to think about, if you're online, get your typing fingers ready. And if you're here in the room, get your brain going. Get your brain going if you're online too. But I invite you to think about, what does self-trust mean to you? How does it show up? What about betrayal? What about trust? What about one of these 7 things? Boundaries, reliability, accountability, vault, integrity, non-judgment, and generosity. And then tell us what's going on. How does self-trust show up for you? What does it look like? What comes up for you? Do you have a story? All right? So, y'all go right ahead.
All right, we're gonna do a song about love. This is called Love and You. You setting out alone in search of a home for your heart. You checking off your list of everything you want for you. Love comes in all shapes and sizes. Love has no color or shame. Love is always there beside you. True love doesn't have a name. The past keeps tapping on your shoulder. Hurt has hitched a ride just stick 'em in your suitcase. And remember, it's what's made a sweeter you. Love knows no perfection. Love sees the truest side of you. Love knows no isolation. Love is seeking you. You can never see tomorrow, just the scattered pieces and missing parts. But you can be a believer that love can heal a broken heart. Love is ever mending. Love sews a golden thread. Love pulls pieces together. Love, love, love is all love says. You are never alone in search of a home for your heart.
Thank y'all. And a special shout out to Lynn this month because she doesn't know what we're going to talk about each week. So she's having to pick songs with very little information. All right. So who has a thought about self-trust? And if you are online, we invite you to put your thoughts in the chat and we will pop them up and read them aloud. So self-trust. I gave y'all a whole song to think about it. I see you. Are you ready? I can always count on Miriam to get called out and be okay with it.
Okay, so I was thinking about how we use our bodies as a barometer to sort of connect with self-trust, because I think a lot of messages that we get, we're told to think certain ways or we're told to do certain things, and sometimes it doesn't square with our bodies. And I think just sitting with yourself and feeling your heart rate and how you feel around people, and just really trusting how your entire self reacts to a situation is sort of a way to start trusting yourself a little more. So.
Oh my gosh, I love that. And Miriam, you and I were on the same wavelength because during that song, I was thinking about how next month we're talking about our physical body. And so, yes, that we can trust our bodies to always tell us the truth. And so tapping in is the key. Who else has a thought? Anybody is welcome to share. Oh, Dottie, come on up. All right. And hold it nice and close to you.
Okay, how about this?
That's perfect.
Is this good? Okay. The way that I sabotage my self-trust, I would say, is by telling people I'm going to do things and then not doing them. Makes me feel really bad about myself, makes me feel afraid to see that person again. You know, I don't know. I need to think about it more carefully and really come up with a plan, I think. Because not doing things that I tell people I'm going to do or doing things that I told them I'm not going to do, depending, are two things that really sabotage me. So, yeah.
Thank you, Dottie. Okay, make sure. So yeah, sabotage is kind of a thing that we didn't talk about, but it goes right along with betrayal, right? And it can be really hard. I try to live by, but of course I still have to tell people all the time that I didn't make this deadline or whatever, but I try to live by under promise, over deliver. So I tell them I can do the bare minimum, and then I try to do more if I can. I do that with exercise as well. I tell myself I have to exercise for 5 minutes a day, and usually it's 20, but sometimes it's only 5, and it's okay because I under promised, over delivered, or under promised and barely delivered. All right, One Love. I don't know who that is, but One Love says, walking through the fear with breath. Ooh, that's self-trust, walking through the fear with breath. I love that. Thank you, One Love. Andy says he loses self-trust when he doesn't do something he promised himself. Tomorrow morning, I'm going to. Similar to what Dottie was saying. And yes, Andy, I do that too. Tomorrow morning, I'm going to wake up early and go do XYZ. And then tomorrow morning comes and I am still in bed. I agree, Andy. Anyone else online? All right. Who else in person? Who else has thoughts? Lynn.
I just think self-trust.
Hold on.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, go ahead.
Sorry. Self-trust, it takes a lot of courage because, you are maybe putting yourself out there and being vulnerable. So I think of it like that.
Yes. Yes, the self-trust and courage and vulnerability triangle. I'm pretty sure we could spend like 4 weeks on this one topic. Anyone else? Anyone else? Brent, are you coming up for music stuff? Or are you coming up to tell us about self-trust? I didn't think you were coming up to tell us about self-trust, but I was just checking in. Anyone else? Anyone online? Okay, well, let's all take a breath. And I invite you into prayer with me. So you can close your eyes or soften your gaze, whatever you feel most comfortable with. And what I know that I know is that there is only the one. That one thing that we call God, we call Allah, we call Spirit, we call the universe, we call divine, we call it by so many names. And yet it simply is the allness and the fullness of life. It is the universe, but it is also the multiverse and beyond even that which we can fathom with these finite minds. It is that one thing that we know must be goodness, it must be joy, it must be self-trust, it must be all of life, every action, every decision, every thought, every emotion, all of it. Everything that is happening is God's grandest, highest expression of itself as life. And because this must be true, because there is only that one thing going on, I know that each and every one of us is that individualized expression of spirit, that each and every one of us is the divine in form, that we are each God's highest idea of a me on planet Earth. And so every action that we take is divine. Every decision that we make is divine. Every step that we take is divine. The very ground upon which we stand is holy because it's all holy and we are holy. And so knowing all of this to be true, I simply declare that each and every one of us are stepping more deeply into trust, into self-trust, that each and every one of us are showing up to ourselves as well-bounded, reliable, accountable beings, that we hold our words as sacred, that we are in integrity with our values, and that we stand in non-judgment of ourselves as we mess up and make mistakes and fail and need help and try again and support and lean on each other. And that we are so generous in our spirits. We are generous in the way that we think about ourselves. We are generous about the way that we think about our past selves. We are generous in the way that we think about one another. And I am so grateful for this beloved community where we get to continue to practice all of these ideas, all of these emotions with one another. I am grateful for this community where we step up and need help and ask each other and lean on one another for support, and there is no judgment, that we simply say yes to this beloved community and everything that we do, that we trust ourselves, and as we trust ourselves more deeply, we trust one another more deeply. I'm so grateful for the practice that this community gives us, this brilliant, amazing, light community. And so with that, I simply release my word. I let it go. I know that it is done as I have spoken, and even greater. And so I can just surrender and trust the universe as we say together. And so it is. And so this is the time in our service for our gifts and our offerings. And as you know, your very presence here is a gift. Just by showing up, even if you're showing up online, even if you're showing up a decade from now and watching this on a repeat, that your very presence, the very act of being here, lends more love to this community. And I am so very grateful for it. As you also know, we are a tithing community, and we run on donations, offerings, and tithes of our community. So if you have a monetary gift for us, we are so grateful for it. You can, if you are here in the room, we have a basket over here on this side. We no longer have a basket on this side, just over here. Everything's kind of moved around a little bit, but that's okay. That's okay. Just breathe through the changes. And if you are online, you can go to our website at celebrationcenter.org and click on the Give button. It will take you to our Secure Breeze website where you can give there. And with that, I invite Judy back into the room.
So please join me in saying our offertory affirmation together aloud. I open my heart to give and receive the blessings that are Spirit's promise to me. As I do, the entire universe conspires to give me an abundant life, and I open to accept it, and so it is. So we bless these gifts, knowing they carry the energy of the infinite abundance that flows continuously through all creation. As these offerings move through our center, we know our programs prosper, uplifting and enriching our lives. We know that the energy of love within each gift moves through the greater community, through the center's ties. Gratitude, knowing they return to us multiplied. We give thanks for the unending circle of giving and receiving, affirming prosperity flowing through all of life. And so it is.
And so it is. Thank you so much, Judy. And now we have our call and response. This is something new, and so I invite you to repeat after me. Something wonderful is happening through me right now. I am led by Spirit. I am guided by wisdom. I am protected by love. I am here to be a blessing. I am so grateful. And so it is. And now, if you would like to stand, we have our closing song, and we invite you to sing along.
Let there be peace. I am a staff for peace. Let there be love. I am a staff for let there be peace. I am a staff for peace, let there be love. I am a staff for love, let there be joy. I am a staff for joy. We are making a new world now. Let there be peace. I am a staff for peace, let there be love. I am a staff for love, let there be joy. I am a staff for joy. We are making a new world now. We are making a new world now. We are making a new world now.
Oh, with that laughter and that joy, the butterflies of the universe. I send us out into the world knowing that we continue to grow our trust in ourselves every single day in every action that we take, and that we are generous of spirit when we make mistakes and try again. And so it is. And before we go off live, just a reminder that at 12:20 is our game time. You can join if you are here in person. You can join if you are on Zoom. So we invite you to take a break and then come back at 12:20 for Pictionary. And I love you.